I'm Gilbert Gottfried, and this is Gilbert and Frank's Amazing Colossal Obsessions. I'm here with Frank Santopadre, and which one of us should go first?
Well, this is our special Halloween episode.
Yes.
You go first, because you're going to talk about a film that relates to a guest.
Yes. We found and spoke to an actress by the name of Janet Ann Gallo. And, I mean, to somebody like me, who's a horror film nut, she's bigger than Julia Roberts. She was... There's a scene in Ghost of Frankenstein. She's a little girl playing with a ball, and these bullies... grab the ball from her and throw it on a roof. And the Frankenstein monster, played, of course, by Lon Chaney Jr., because Boris Karloff wouldn't do it again, he shows up and gets the ball and befriends this little girl. And in real life, that was the relationship they had. She just the same way the little girl wasn't afraid of the monster, she wasn't afraid of Chaney as the monster, and Chaney loved her and her brother and even offered to adopt them. That's how crazy he was. And it's not, considered one of the classic Frankensteins by any stretch.
What is this? Is it the fifth one in the original?
It's the fourth.
The fourth one, right,
Yeah.
after Son of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Right. Isn't the House of Frankenstein the fifth one?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. Right. I got to get my order right.
Yeah. And then it was House of Frankenstein and House of Dracula.
Got it. She was as hard to book as Julia Roberts, by the way.
But, It's just so it's not considered one of the classics, but it's fun in those Universal old monster movie fun. Lugosi is back as Igor,
right?
And that was like a fun portrayal, and you could see Lugosi having fun playing that part
For a change.
Yes,
Yeah.
And Ralph Bellamy. Shows up Evelyn Ankers, Sir Cedric Hardwicke, Lionel Atwill, and it's the whole cast of Universal crew, and just a fun, quick-moving picture.
Lionel Atwill, who you brought up during the live Lewis Black episode, and we had to explain to the audience who Lionel Atwill was.
Yes. He was in a lot of these horror movies and sinister parts. And he's the one who's mocked in Young Frankenstein.
Like Kenneth Mars.
Yeah,
right,
with the wooden arm.
That's right, the mechanical arm.
And he, in real life, was supposed to be quite the perv and throw these big, wild orgies.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what
Where did you come up with this?
I heard that, the police were pretty much after him.
Really?
And a couple of times he felt like, well, it's all over for me now.
Let me write this down. Lionel Atwill was throwing sex parties.
Yes.
Wow. That's a scoop.
Yeah. I don't know if Boris Karloff ever showed up.
I doubt it. Or Evelyn Ankers. The movie I want to talk about, because this is our Halloween episode, and this is maybe a slightly more unconventional choice, because it's not really a horror film, but it's a spooky film. It's And Then There Were None in 1945. René Clair, the French director's adaptation of a very famous Agatha Christie story, 10 Little Indians, which was remade. Never as well.
Yeah.
It was made many, many times. Never as well as this picture, because it has an all-star cast. Walter Huston, who's great. Barry Fitzgerald, a Jew, by the way. I don't know if you knew that.
Do you want to know something?
Yeah.
One time, I remember talking to my grandmother years ago, and she had just watched a movie the night before on TV. And she said, oh, this actor Barry Fitzgerald is in it. He's so wonderful. And then she goes, is he Jewish?
Wow.
Yeah.
What was she watching? Was it Going My Way or one of those Fitzgerald things? couldn't be less Jewish.
Yeah.
This is a story about a bunch of strangers who are invited to an isolated island, and they're all accused by this mysterious host named Mr. Owen. And they don't know who Mr. Owen is, and they're all basically the caretaker at the island who's waiting for them is instructed to put on a record, and he puts on a record, and it's recording of Mr. Owen's voice. Do you know this film, Paul? No. Our friend Paul Rayburn is here. He doesn't know it either. And every guest is accused of being a murderer, and then gradually you find out their backstories and what they're hiding, and that each one of them has a secret. And then one by one, they're bumped off. And it's a great whodunit. But it's very stylish.
This must have been a stage play.
It was a stage play.
Yeah.
It was a stage play. And it's a little bit stage bound, but it's René Clair was a great French director who worked in silent films. And Dame Judith Anderson is in it, and Aubrey Smith. You know these actors.
Yeah.
And Roland Young from Topper. And it's just and Misha Auer. Remember him?
I think Misha Auer might be of a certain religious persuasion.
I know where you're going with this. But it's a wonderful whodunit. It's atmospheric and it's funny, but it's also unsettling. It's very moody. And it was a movie that I loved as a kid, and I pull it out on Halloween. It's not, as I said, it's not a shocker.
Yeah.
It's not a ghoulish film. It's not a conventional horror film, but it
keeps you watching it.
Yeah, it's great. It's very, very well made. So check it out. Barry Fitzgerald is just wonderful. Richard Hayden, you know that actor, Haydn. Do you know him? You know him to see him.
Do you remember? This is too easy a question. Remember who Barry Fitzgerald's brother was?
Oh God, you're going to stump me. I don't. I think I know this, but forgot.
Okay,
give me a hint.
His brother's name was Arthur Shield.
I'm stumped.
And he was in Naked City.
I didn't know that.
That was one of those cases of where, like, the siblings had different names. So there was Barry Fitzgerald.
Like Warren Beatty and Shirley MacLaine.
Yeah, and Arthur Shields. Or James Arnaz and Peter Graves.
Right.
Or Charlie Sheen and Emilio
Estevez. Right.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Barry Fitzgerald's a great actor.
Oh, yeah.
Who did a lot of wonderful stuff. He's terrific in this. So is Walter Huston. The director is smart enough to give them scenes together.
Oh, yeah.
And they're both wonderful. And obviously it's a whodunit, and I can't say too much about it, but it's very rewarding. 1945, I think.
Yeah.
And what's the? Did you give us the plot of Ghost of Frankenstein?
Okay.
You just told us about it, Janet Ann Gallo.
Ghost of Frankenstein. I mean, you see, they're running out of ideas, and it's going a little nutty. Mm-hmm. But it still works. But Igor, somehow, there's no rhyme or reason to. He's still alive after being hung.
That's right. But he's got the broken neck.
Yes.
Right.
But other than that, he's fine.
Right.
And he wants his brain put in the monster's body. Mm-hmm. And there's a chilling scene where the monster kidnaps the little girl and points to her head and then points to his own head as to tell him he wants the little girl's brain in his body, in his head, which is kind of chilling.
Yeah. And who was the other guest we were working on booking that was a child star that was in one of the Frankenstein films?
Son of Frankenstein, Donnie Dunnigan.
Donnie Dunnigan, right.
Yes.
So we're working on Donnie, too.
Yes.
So by the time you hear this, we may have interviewed him.
Yeah.
From Son of Frankenstein.
Yes, Son of Frankenstein.
When you first brought up Janet Ann Gallo back in the day when we started this, I misunderstood. I thought you were talking about the little girl in the original Frankenstein.
Oh, no.
Who winds up in the...
Yeah, he throws her in the water.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally different.
Should
we track her down too?
Well, yeah, I guess we should track down her cemetery she's in right now.
So happy Halloween, everybody. And the Halloween movies this year are...
Mine's Ghost of Frankenstein.
And then there were none, directed by the great Frenchman René Clair. And next time we talk and next time we do this, I might have some information about Papillon Susu.
Oh, don't tease me.
I'm going to tease you. See you next time.
Obsessions.